Okay, so today we're going to take a look at lesson 3. We're going to create some conversion tables for units of time and use the tables to solve some problems. Okay, so taking a look up here at number 1, we have our first word problem. Now, Courtney needs to leave the house by 8 o'clock a.m. She wakes up at 6 a.m. How many minutes does she have to get ready? I'm going to use the number line to show your work. Okay, now, you have to be very careful with time because time is very different than some of the other numbers that we've used. And we can't just simply add and subtract. Okay, so one way that we can do that with time is to use a number line. Okay? So we can lay out 0 to 12, okay? Since there's 12 numbers on the clock. Okay? Now, she needs to leave the house by 8 o'clock. And she's waking up at 6 o'clock. So we can see that we have 2 hours for her to get ready. Now, we also know that each hour has 60 minutes. And so 1 hour is 60 minutes. Okay? So that means 2 hours would be 120 minutes. Okay? So then that means Courtney has 120 minutes to get ready. And now, number 2, we have Juliana's goal was to run a marathon in under 6 hours. So what was her goal in minutes? Okay, so she wants to do it under 6 hours. Then we need to convert that into minutes. Okay, so again, if we think about our tape diagram, okay, we have our 6 hours. Okay, each hour is 60 minutes. Okay, so we have 60 minutes times 6 hours. Okay, so that means we get 360 minutes. Okay, so her goal was 360 minutes. Okay. All right, so now let's take a look at our conversion tables here to write the rule under each table. Okay, so we have hours to minutes first. So like we talked about, we know that there's 60 minutes in 1 hour. So our conversion rule here then is to multiply hours times 60. Okay. So we have 3 hours now. Now I know 3 times 6 is 18, so 3 times 6 tens would be 18 tens. Okay, same thing here. We know that we just did up here 60 times 6. So that means this is 360 minutes. Okay. 60 times 10 gets us 600. Okay, and then now we have 60 times 15. I'm going to actually do this off to the side here. Okay, so you can see that we have 900 minutes. Okay. Now, switching over to our next one here, we have days and hours. Okay, so there's 24 hours in a day. Okay, so our rule here is to multiply days times 24. Okay, so now 2 days then would be 48. 5 days, and do a little bit of multiplication here in our margin. Okay, go through, multiply that out. We get 120. And now 7, I don't really need to multiply that all out because I know that 2 plus 5 is 7. So now I can just add 48 plus 120. And we have 168 hours and 7 days. Okay. Now our next one, we have 10. Okay, well, now we're just doing 24 times 10, which is 24 tens. Okay. So moving on to our next one. Okay, we're going to be combining mixed units into the smaller unit. Okay, so we have 9 hours, 30 minutes, 9.5 hours. We're converting that into full minutes. So we know that there's 60 minutes in an hour. So we're going to do 60 times 9. So that gets us 540 minutes plus 30 for a total of 570. Okay. Same thing here. We have 60 seconds for every minute. So we can multiply that out and we get 420 seconds plus 45 seconds, which is a total of 465 seconds. Moving on to the next one. Okay, now we're going hours and days. Okay, so we know that there's 24 hours in one day, so we're going to do 24 times 9. Okay, so we multiply that out. We get 216 hours. Please make sure that you're also doing the same work in your margins on your book, okay, so that you know how to do that the next time when you're on your own. So now 216 plus 20 gets us 236 total hours. Okay, next one we have minutes and seconds again. So again we have 60 times 22. So that tells us we have 1,320 seconds plus 27, so we have a total of 1,347 seconds. And moving on to the next one, we have 13 days. Okay. So we do 24 times 13 this time. Multiply that out. Okay. And that gives us a total of 312 hours plus 19 gives us 331 hours. Okay, moving on to our last one here. Okay. We have 23 hours and 5 minutes. Okay, so we're going to do 23 hours times our 60. Okay. So it gives us 1,380 minutes plus 5 minutes, so a total of 1,385. Now you can see number 5 here asks us to explain it in words, what we just did over here with problem F. Right? So each hour is 60 minutes. So I multiplied 23 times 60. And then we added 5 minutes. And we get that extra 5 minutes over here. Okay, moving on to number 6. We need to know how many seconds are in 14 minutes, 43 seconds. Okay. So we have our tape diagram. So we have 14 minutes. Now this right here, okay, we're going to shade it in a little bit because that's 43 seconds. That's not the full minute. But we have 14 sections, and each one of those we know is 60. Okay. So each one of these sections is 60 minutes. Okay, so now we have 60 times 14. We add that up, we get 840. But then now we have to add that 43 seconds. So remember, we bring over the 840 to start a new problem. You can see that we end up with 883. So 14 minutes, 43 seconds equals 883 seconds. Okay. All right, last one. We want to know hours with weeks and days. Now, this one's a little bit tricky. Notice we have 3 different units here. Okay, weeks and days converting to hours. So we have some multiple steps here. Okay, so let's be very careful here. Okay, so there's our 4 weeks, and then 3 days. And here's 1 week. Okay, now, remember we got to get both of them into hours. So think about what we know. We know 1 day is 24 hours. So that means 3 days. If we multiply that out, so 24 times 3 would be 72 hours. So our 3 days right here is 72 hours. Okay, well, that takes care of that part. Okay. Well, how do we get weeks into hours now? Well, we know that 1 week is 7 days. Okay. So now when we go to convert our hours, we're doing 24 hours times 7 days. Okay. So we multiply that out. Okay. So now we know that 1 week equals 168 hours. So now, looking at our tape diagram here, now we know that we have our 4 weeks, and each of those weeks is 168. Okay, so now we have 168 hours times our 4 weeks. Okay, so that means in 4 weeks, okay, there's 672 hours. Okay, so we're getting there. Okay, so now we have our 672 hours. So we have this for our 4 weeks. And over here we have our 3 days is 72 hours. So now we add those up. And so now we have our final answer. So 4 weeks, 3 days equals 744 hours. Okay. It's a lot of hours, okay, in a little over a month. Okay, so a lot of steps on this one, so be very careful when you're taking a look at the units. Okay, go ahead and get started on the exit ticket.